So we'll jump into this then. Would some video games make a better movie or a TV series than a game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So with the video games and stuff where they're like really struggling and they're not making money like they want and they're struggling for sales and this and that. Imagine if they just did a series or a movie instead. So, for example, Fallout 76 did terrible upon launch.
There's a
When
reason
that came
for
out,
that.
it was terrible.
No, it's not. It's not a when that came out. It's a. I work with a guy who is like diehard Bethesda stuff, Fallout. He refuses to touch 76.
So it actually gained popularity with the TV series. So
Really?
imagine Fallout 76 just wasn't a game. It just never became a game, but instead it just was the Fallout series on Amazon. So imagine if Bethesda just didn't do Fallout 76 and they just instead did the Amazon series in its place. So we got the series like much before or long before we got it now.
Was the Amazon series based on the story in Fallout 76?
It's canon to like the games as a whole.
So it covers like 3, 4, and 76?
I would assume. I'm not
That's
a
wild.
Fallout expert. And I haven't watched the entire series. So.
Well, first, I think Fallout 4 was like a really good storyline.
I enjoyed 4. I played that. I think I beat it.
Like, and Dogmeat is awesome. Dogmeat might be my favorite. 76 just isn't great. So yeah, I could definitely see that traded for like a TV series. You know, like make it an Amazon series. That in itself is a whole nother point of contention because it's like, oh, you have to have Prime to watch this. You have to have Netflix to watch this. You have to have Hulu to watch this. I have to have everything to watch something of what I want. And by the time I do that, I might as well pay for cable TV.
So yeah, but if they instead of 76, if they did the Amazon series sooner, they'd probably be on season 2 or 3 by now, because 76 came out a while ago. So if they did that series and they pitched it and they sold it to, Amazon to produce it, and they have that guaranteed money up front to make it, and then they profit however, with views or purchases or however they make money off of that after the fact, I feel like it would be better as a series rather than just instead trying to make a game. And then like the Division series, like if they did, like those games were good. I enjoyed those games, but if they would have done it as like a series instead, I think it would have been probably better for them than it would have been to make 2 games.
Yeah, so like the Division, I'm looking up something quick because I'm curious about Fallout 76. The Division was another one where it was like, yes, probably should have not made this a game.
I think that would have probably made a pretty good series, because if you make a series and the series does well, then maybe like a game coming after the fact could maybe make it do a little bit better than it did.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hard part is that there's an undertaking with developing the game at that point, because you really want to be right on the heels of that series. Like, you would have to do it in tandem, like almost start game development while you were still shooting it, and then articulate it that way. Maybe we do encounter partnerships or more partnerships where game developers work hand in hand with some film studios to put stuff out like this. I was trying to figure out what the development budget was for Fallout 76, because whatever it was, they spent way too much on that piece of shit. But
yeah, it's gotten. I think it has more players now than it ever did.
It's people seeing
because of the series.
Exactly.
So, when it comes to like a failed a failed game, like, I don't think The Division necessarily failed. It's just it's one that didn't do probably as well as it should have. So if they instead made it like a series, kind of like what's that, Jack Reacher, I think is what it's called. It's like a, typical action, like military style, like show that, has objective, because like the storyline for the Division games is cool. Like, it's a really interesting, thing where it's like a plague or whatever, that it's like a sickness or whatever. It plays the agents get activated and stuff like this. Like, the storyline to me sounds really sweet, and I enjoyed the games, but I think it probably would have been better articulated and told as a series or a movie.
I think a better idea is for just like games, movies, creative content in general to stop regurgitating things over and over and over again.
I mean, yeah, that is a big problem.
Even the general public is doing it now with reels. Like, you see the same joke in a reel from 10 different people, and it's like,
yeah,
come on, man.
The short form content type of thing can be regurgitated so much, because you have so many different apps that offer that short term content. But naturally, video games do poorly as series or movies, but they've really been riding that ship pretty quickly with The Last of Us, Fallout. I feel like I'm missing another big one, that The Witcher. The Witcher did really well. I think that's kind of dead in the water now, but they've done really well, like, putting out actual stuff that is good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see more video games get adapted to movies where it's like sit down, slam it once, and, you can actually just for a block of 2 hours get through the whole idea or the whole concept. And I understand that that's probably harder to adapt because, most of like a 60-hour game, how are you going to cram that into that short span?
So that when you talk about, a 60-hour long game being crammed into like a 2.5-hour movie, a lot of the stuff that's in games and stuff is like traveling from point A to point B, or doing this quest that doesn't matter to the story, or a lot of filler content that doesn't really add to the overarching story.
Like if they put Horizon Zero Dawn, let's say a good film studio picked up a script for Horizon Zero Dawn, I would absolutely be in theaters to see that.
100%.
Like aren't they cast? They cast some. Aren't they doing that?
I think they are doing that. I think they're doing a BioShock series as well.
No.
Yeah, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Big Daddies.
But I think that, some studios need to look at what they're doing in terms of their games and really decide, like, do we want to try, like, because nowadays you have to monetize stuff, and like it's just getting more and more difficult to monetize your game and be successful than if you just pitched it as a movie or a series instead, and a studio picked it up and you made it a series that does well. Now you've got, the world at your feet, because you can do different do different things with that. You can expand it, and now you don't have to worry about trying to write a sequel and maybe ending it there. Like, you can leave it open to, if it continues to do well.
Well, I think you can only do that so many times before people are like, "Come on, man."
Well, you have to end it in relative. Like, you can't just keep it going.
Like, take Harry Potter for example. If that had started as a film instead of books, I promise you, by the fourth film, people would have been like, "Wrap it up, come on."
Probably.
Ain't nobody go to school for 7 years at the same place and throw a little magic wand in the air to do crap.
Yeah.
But the books were okay because everybody was like, who's ever going to say, no, we don't want more books?
That's true, yeah.
And that, like...
exactly.
Fast and the Furious. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how many times can you beat a dead horse?
Yeah.
Yeah. They could have probably stopped at 3 and who would have known any better?
Because I'm curious, with how well The Last of Us season 1 did, and
Click that heart on
how
Fast and the Furious.
anticipated everybody is for the
100. What the heck?
Oh, you just made I hate you, Andy. Oh my God, Andy, you are the worst.
We needed to be signed in.
You are the worst.
Go to Docs.
Holy. That's the last time I listened to you. Oh my God.
Whoop.
So I'm curious, with them telling the part 1 and now they're going into part 2, are they going to try and carry that out and go beyond how part 2 ended and like continue Ellie's story, or you want me to heart that one too? If they're going to try and milk it and keep it going, or if they're just going to draw the line and be like, okay, we've done because I know they're making a third game.
Are they?
Yeah, 100%. I think. I'm pretty sure. They're like in the process of like writing the story. It's not like a for sure thing that's announced, but I'm pretty sure that they're making a third one.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing with all of this, right? Games, books, movies, television series, it's all a different way of storytelling.
Yes.
And when you look at, the root of the concept, the story itself, the, imaginative or perhaps partially imaginative detail of events or a sequence of events and everything that happens, there are so many different ways you can take it from one, medium to the next. And I think like video games, I think it would be cool if they started looking at different books that they could adopt directly into those.
Well, I mean, they kind of did that with the Hogwarts Legacy. It was just like a Harry Potter game.
Well, yeah, I mean, so that was
and it was told from like your perspective of like you go to school at Hogwarts and you get to basically do all of what Harry Potter and all of them did and stuff like that.
Just set like 100 years before Harry came along.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, so it's like way back. Hogwarts Legacy is almost like Hogwarts GTA. It's open world.
From what I saw, a bunch of people love that game.
Yeah, well, I saw a lot of people doing a lot of really inappropriate stuff. So it was like, maybe I won't actually, expose this to my 11-year-old because apparently you can get drunk in it. You can do like.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you can control that.
Well, yeah, you can do that in real life.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But
I want an Andy Griffith show, The Game, where it's GTA style, but you're the sheriff and you get to walk around town and just be super nice to people and never arrest a single person unless it's Otis the drunk. And he comes riding literally walking into the jail or riding on a horse.
So when you talk about telling stories in like different ways, I think that's something that the game developers and whoever's like making this, like writing the script or the story or everything like that to either pitch to a game studio or a movie studio or what have you, it's like, what is the best way to tell this story? What's the best way to accomplish what we want to accomplish in telling the story?
Well, and I think it's dependent on level of detail too. And
the other thing you have to think about too is like, if we make this a game, are we going to be able to make the gameplay engaging to keep your attention? Because people have such a small attention span now that if it doesn't grab you immediately, it's done.
Yeah, I don't think Brokeback Mountain would ever make a console. That would be pretty repetitive.
So it's.
But I played Farming Simulator for hours. Did I just admit that to people?
Dude, I've played House Flipper.
Okay,
Have you played that game?
No, I haven't, but we need to have a talk.
But I think if they can do that, then I think it would open up the world to like maybe having more good series and more good games. Like, the quality would come back, because the quality for everything right now is just kind of in the dumpster.
No. Quality ain't coming back.
Oh, well.
So quality, people have to give a shit